People pleasing can be considered a form of manipulation. Why and how? Because it often involves subtly controlling or influencing others' perceptions and behaviors to achieve a desired outcome. Here's some key points that explain this perspective: seeking approval and avoiding conflict. People pleasers may go out of their way to gain approval and avoid conflict, often with the underlying goal of being liked, admired, or accepted. This behavior can manipulate others into perceiving them as more agreeable and cooperative than they might actually be. By always saying yes and accommodating others, people pleasers can exert indirect control over situations and relationships, and they shape the dynamics to avoid negative reactions and ensure they remain in others' good graces. Emotional manipulation. People pleasers might use their self sacrificing behavior to induce feelings of guilt or obligation in others. When someone repeatedly puts others' needs before their own, it can create a sense of indebtedness, making others feel compelled to reciprocate or to comply with their wishes. They often also have unspoken expectations that their kindness and their sacrifices will be recognized and rewarded. When these expectations are not met, it can lead to resentment and passive aggressive behavior, further manipulating the emotional climate of the relationship. Inauthentic interactions, right? So, people pleasers frequently hide their true feelings, thoughts, opinions, and emotions and needs to avoid displeasing others. This creates a mask or facade, leading to inauthentic interactions where others cannot genuinely understand or respond to their true self because that self is not presented. By presenting themselves as always agreeable and selfless, people pleasers influence how others perceive them, and this can manipulate social interactions and relationships as the person is not showing their true self, but a curated version designed to elicit a specific response. Avoiding responsibility. By consistently putting others first, people pleasers can avoid taking responsibility for their own decisions and actions. They might deflect accountability by claiming they were only trying to help or please others, manipulating the situation to avoid any self criticism or blame. Their behavior can foster dependency, where others rely on them for support and validation. And this dynamic can be manipulative as it positions the people pleaser in central control in all of the relationships. And while people pleasing may appear benign or even virtuous on the surface, it can be a form of manipulation that subtly influences others and shapes interpersonal dynamics to achieve the desired outcome. Understanding this perspective helps in recognizing the complex motivations behind people pleasing behaviors and encourages healthier and more authentic interactions. So, what does this look like in real life? Let's look at an example. Sarah had always been the kind of person everyone could rely on. Need a favor? Sarah was your go-to. Want someone to listen to your problems? Sarah was always there. But beneath her constant accommodating nature lay a complex reality. It started innocently enough. In high school, Sarah discovered that being agreeable and always saying yes to requests earned her friends and kept conflicts at bay. She enjoyed the approval and affection it brought her and a sense of peace that came from avoiding any confrontation. As she grew older, her need to please became less about kindness and more about control. At her job, Sarah was known for taking on extra tasks and staying late to help her colleagues. Her boss praised her dedication. Co-workers admired her willingness to lend a hand. But Sarah's motivation was not purely altruistic. She was subtly manipulating the perceptions of others, seeing her as indispensable, which gave her a sense of security and value. In her personal relationships, Sarah's people-pleasing tendencies created an emotional web. She found herself doing things she didn't want to do to avoid disappointing others. She would agree to plans that she had no interest in and suppress her true feelings to maintain harmony. This behavior elicited a sense of guilt and obligation in her friends, who felt indebted to her for her constant sacrifices. It was an unspoken agreement. Sarah would go out of her way for them, and in return, they would be there for her. But this came at a cost. Sarah's true self was hidden behind a facade of agreeableness. Her friends and family didn't know the real Sarah, and this lack of authenticity began to weigh heavily on her. The constant need to please others left her feeling unseen and misunderstood. Sarah's manipulation extended to how she handled responsibility. By always prioritizing others' needs, she avoided making decisions for herself. When things went wrong, she deflected accountability, claiming she was just trying to help. This manipulation of situations allowed her to maintain her image as the selfless helper. In her romantic relationships, the pattern continued. Sarah's partners often felt like they had to walk on eggshells, fearing that their needs would become another burden and she would have to take it on reluctantly. This dynamic created an imbalance, fostering dependency and making it difficult for her partners to address their own needs. Then the turning point came when Sarah's friend Emma confronted her. Emma had noticed that Sarah seemed unhappy and distant despite always being there for everyone else. "Why don't you ever tell us what you really want, Sarah?" Emma asked one evening. "It feels like you're always hiding behind this mask of being a perfect friend." Sarah was taken aback, and she had never considered that her behavior was a form of manipulation. She thought she was being a good friend, but Emma's words made her realize that her actions were creating barriers instead of building genuine connections. How do we reset and challenge the pattern? Here are 10 tips to stop people-pleasing behaviors. Number 1, recognize and acknowledge the behavior. The first step in stopping people-pleasing is to become aware of when and why you do it. Pay attention to situations where you feel compelled to say yes or go out of your way to make others happy, especially if it's at your own expense. Number 2, understand the root cause. Reflect on why you feel the need to please others. It might be due to low self-esteem, fear of rejection, or desire for approval. Understanding the root cause can help you address the underlying issues. Number 3, set clear boundaries. Establish what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. Learning to say no without feeling guilty. Setting boundaries is crucial for maintaining your mental health and your emotional well-being. Number 4, practice self-care. Prioritize your needs and take care of yourself. Engage in activities that make you happy and relax you. When you take care of yourself, you have more to give others in a healthy, productive way. Number 5, build your self-confidence. Work on building and boosting your self-esteem. Celebrate your achievements and your strengths. The more confident you feel, the less likely you are to seek validations from others. Number 6, communicate assertively. Learn to express your thoughts, feelings, and emotions honestly and respectfully. Assertive communication helps you stand up for yourself without being aggressive or passive. Number 7, accept that you cannot please everyone. Understand it's impossible to make everyone happy at all times. Accept that some people might be disappointed or unhappy with your decisions, and that's okay. It's okay. Number 8, focus on authentic relationships. Surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries, accept you for who you are. Authentic relationships are based on mutual respect and understanding, not on pleasing each other. Number 9, seek professional help. If people pleasing is deeply ingrained and affecting your life significantly, consider seeking help from a therapist or counselor. They can provide strategies and support to help you change these behaviors. And number 10, practice saying no. Start small by saying no to minor requests and gradually work your way up to bigger ones. Practice makes permanent, so the more you say no, the more comfortable you will become with it. By implementing these tips, you can begin to break free from the habit of people pleasing and develop healthier, more balanced relationships with your others and yourself. And remember, it's okay to prioritize your needs and your well-being. It's not selfish, it's self-advocacy. And remember, while I am a licensed professional, I might not be your licensed professional. So please utilize this information as education and reach out to a mental health professional near you for more personalized and individualized care.